What's up guys? Today I want to show you a gel blaster I recently purchased for myself for an upcoming milsim event. This here is the AK-74U, made by the company APS. This blaster here is imported into Australia by Tactical Edge Hobbies, which means you'll be able to save 10% on any purchases if you want to buy this from them or anything else on their site. I'll put a discount code down in the video description as well as the top pinned comment. In this video today, I'll give you an overview of the blaster itself, including some small modifications that I've made to it. I'll give you a chrono test, and then I'll give you an accuracy test and some gameplay. Let's get started. Beginning at the front of the blaster, we've got a metal flash hider which screws onto a 14mm counterclockwise thread, so you'd easily be able to take that off and put any kind of 14mm attachment that you like on there. But personally, I'll be keeping the flash hider because it matches this blaster quite well. The inner barrel itself has a 7.3mm internal diameter and a 9.6 outer diameter. So it's a little bit wider than 9.5 barrels that most of those hop-ups are designed for. With a little bit of force, you can get them on and they aren't coming off. If you want to keep the flash hider that comes on the blaster though, as well as use a hop-up, you need something skinny enough that it fits inside the flash hider, such as a Sweetheart hop-up that I'll be using. Even with a Sweetheart hop-up, once it arrived, I had to drill the flash hider out a little to let it fit through. Moving further back from the flash hider now, you've got a metal front sight, you've got a metal outer barrel, and even a fake metal cleaning rod at the bottom of the barrel. You can remove that, it's not actually functional, it's fairly short, it only sticks into the wood a tiny bit. The handguard is made of real wood, and it's also where the battery's supposed to go. The space for the battery is so small though that I found an alternative place for it that I'll show you in a moment. There's also a metal fully adjustable sight as well as a metal charging handle, but the metal charging handle doesn't actually perform any kind of usable function such as mag prime, it's simply there for the looks. The receiver itself is fully metal and you get a metal selector switch which is up for safe, down for semi-auto, and in the middle for full auto. The trigger is metal. The trigger guard is metal, the grip is plastic, and the stock is metal. The stock is very sturdy and doesn't have any wobble to it. And with a button on the side, it fully collapses, and for all of the gameplay you'll see later in the video, I was using it collapsed the whole time. Just makes it a lot easier to use in close quarters. Now, the magazine that this comes with is an odd one. This is the magazine that actually comes with the blaster. And anyone who knows anything about AKs will be able to tell you this is a 7.62 mag. And this is an AK-74, which usually shoots a smaller projectile, which is 5.45. What I've actually gone and done is ordered a bunch of these RX AK mags, which are not actually a 5.45, but they look a lot more the part than these 7.62s do. I got these from Monkey Mods, everywhere else was out of stock at the time. The 7.62 mags that it comes with have a loading door in the side, and the RX mags kind of have this tab you pull out and it folds open at the top for you to load your gel balls in. One advantage of both of these types of mags though, is they hold a lot more gels than an M4 mag does. In fact, at the milsim that I'm going to, they allow NATO to have one extra M4 mag compared to our team with the AK mags. Now let's open this up and show you some of the quick modifications that I made. Okay, so to open this thing up, you simply push in this button at the back of the receiver and lift upwards. And the first thing I did to this out of the box was undid a few screws there and on here and remove the artificial blowback unit. Normally when you fire this particular electric blaster, there's a blowback unit which slides back and forward through these rails here, which I've completely removed. What removing that will do is it will reduce vibrations in the blaster, hopefully save on a bit of battery life, as well as maybe even increase the velocity of the blaster. Additionally, without a piece of metal sliding back and forward on top of the gearbox, it becomes a nice and safe space to store your battery. So I'm able to fit a Turnigy 11 volt, which normally would not fit inside the handguard of the blaster. Also, the connector this uses is a mini Tamiya, which is fairly common for most gel blasters. This blaster also has a split spring retainer in the gearbox, which should be removable to change your spring, but the stock basically stops you from doing that easily. So another modification I made was simply to Dremel out part of the blaster shell here. So now all I have to do is remove these 2 screws on either side, push the stock collapse in, and the stock removes completely. Now you can simply turn the spring retainer and access and change your spring. To use this in the gameplay at Battle for Waterloo, I did have to step it down to a weaker spring, because this is shooting well over 300 FPS out of the box. At the milsim we're going to though, it's shooting just below 350 FPS, so it's completely fine for the rule set there. I also purchased one more accessory for this blaster, and that is a Picatinny rail, so that I can mount either a torch or a scope like this to the top of the blaster. Because normally a traditional AK-74 does not have any Picatinny rails on it. The more modern ones do, but this one doesn't. We've also got a sling point at the front, a sling point at the rear, but that pretty much covers everything physical about this blaster. Let's head outside and do some testing. The first thing I'll do for you is a chrono test. This is straight out of the box, but I have removed the blowback functionality because that's the first thing I actually did before I even brought it out to the field. Let's see how it shoots. So we got a high of 340, a low of 272, and an average of 318. For the milsim we're going to, that's got an FPS limit of 350 feet per second, so I think this is completely perfect with that high of 340. For the event today though, I will have to drop this down to a lower spring to get it below 300. But with a quick modification I made, it only takes like a minute to change the spring, so I don't mind doing that. But now let's check the rate of fire on an 11 volt battery. 17.2 rounds per second, pretty average for a stock blaster, although it could have been slightly lower before we removed the blowback. I'm not putting it back in to test. But now it's time for the accuracy test. Let's go and stand 30 meters away from a 1 meter diameter target. Something I should note though is my sweetheart hop-up had not arrived yet, so I'm shooting this completely without a hop-up, although usually, from what I've found, a hop-up doesn't increase accuracy, just range. So let's see how it shoots with a little bit of an angle to make it reach 30 meters. I reckon that's enough. So if we take a look at that grouping that we just shot, it seems to match any other gel blaster that I've ever tested, except keep in mind I wasn't using a hop-up on here. So it would seem that a hop-up is not some magical cure for accuracy, and all it really does is help flatten the trajectory and maybe extend the range a tiny bit. But that is the APS AK-74U from Tactical Edge Hobbies. Keep in mind there's that 10% discount code. Check it out in the video description down below, or check out the pinned comment down below. That's it for this video, guys. I hope you enjoy the gameplay I'm about to show you, and I'll see you on the next video.
Ready! Go, Paul! Oh, I haven't ran in a few weeks.
They're coming. Got him! Let's fold the stock in. Got him. Let's change mag.
Hit.
Good one.
As long as you're using super hard gels, I can't see it too much.
Let's go.
Yeah, there's filling behind the window.
I don't want to go burst through it.
Oh, he's running back, he's running back, he's running back. Oh. Yeah, I'll pull that. Oh, that's not always the time to go with it. Oh, shit.
Oh, I didn't get spot again, Brad.
You should check it by now.
Yeah! That was well. Yeah, I've got one on the hand.